So I'm 39 now, and up until a year and a bit ago, I would call myself a lukewarm Christian. I thought I was a Christian. I had asked the Lord to enter my life and went on to live a life unto myself, and decided that that wasn't how I wasn't going to live anymore. And so I had made a conscious effort to get closer to God and to be better and to become a Christ follower. Since then, God really has had me on the potter's wheel. He's humbled me in a lot of spaces, showed me my faults where I thought other people were the problem, and has refined me and still refines me. I had an instance around abortion. I didn't abort a baby, but I kind of have a love-hate relationship with a person in my life. And years ago, I knew she was pregnant. And then all of a sudden, she wasn't pregnant. And she had said that she'd miscarried. And I had always had a sinking feeling that she had lied and that she had, in fact, aborted her baby. And it wasn't until a few years later that someone who thought that I knew about the situation mentioned it to me and said how she had had an abortion. And I had said, "Did she tell you that?" And he said, "Yes, she did." And so it was confirmed for me. And I hadn't judged her outwardly, never said anything to her about it, but I was judging her inwardly. I thought, what a horrible thing you've done. And I didn't think it was okay. As I've been getting closer to God, He's been showing me things and revealing things to me, working on my compassion and empathy, like I said, humility. I had this dream that we're in this sort of this big grotty house. It was kind of like apartments, and there's a stark hallway. And I knew that she lived behind one of the doors, but she didn't want to let anybody into her door. And then out of nowhere, this alarm starts going off, and her door flies open. And this guy, who was just ooky, he was like in a slick back suit. His hair was like oily, slick back. He had a real angular face. And he ran past me to get out, and the alarm was going off in her room. And I just felt like there was something evil about him. And I ran into this room, and she ran in after me. And I looked. I won't say exactly what I saw. I looked at something, and she stood next to me and saw what I was looking at in her house. And she started screaming, and it was horrible. And then I moved through into a different room, and I recognized the room. It was from her old house, and it was her old bedroom. And it was just weird. It was grim and dark and ugly, like the other place we had come from. And my daughter's dog came into the room, and he was sniffing around. And then he started digging at this weird spot on the floor in her bedroom. And as we started to pull up the floorboards, there's kind of like water underneath. And there was like a package or something wrapped there. And I knew what it was. I knew it was a baby that had been hidden. And someone came into the room beside me. I can't remember who it was. And I was looking at this baby, knowing what God was showing me, that this was her aborted child. And then my daughter's dog, ran off and started digging at another space. And the man in the room with me said, "There's more than one." And I woke up. Initially, when I had gone into the dream, I thought it was a nightmare. But I felt a peace in the space and knew it wasn't that. And I believe it was God showing me that she was hiding things. And the house was her mind, and she was tormented in her mind. That the first thing I saw in the house confirmed to me the rest of the dream, but I don't need to say what that was. And that she was punishing herself and carrying this on her own, and she didn't need my judgment on her. If anything, she needed my compassion and empathy and my prayer. And I knew afterwards that that guy that ran out of her apartment was of the devil. He was in her, keeping her subject and prisoner to these things. And God was showing me that it wasn't my place to judge, and that I should have compassion. So after that dream, that allowed me to pray for her and break off any chains off her, cast evil from her, and to ask that she be able to forgive herself and move on. I don't know the outcome of where she is now. We don't keep in touch. But that was just really important for me to learn that even that yes, that wasn't the right thing to do. But it wasn't the right thing for me to judge her either. I have my own things that I've done wrong, but it was not my place to judge her. And I didn't know that she was beating herself up about it and she didn't need my foot on her neck.